As a child, I knew a remnant meant a small remaining part, such as fabric or leftovers, remnants of a meal. A remnant could also be a natural habitat that hadn't been significantly disturbed. As a believing adult, I learned that, biblically, a remnant often refers to the faithful minority, people preserved by God after apostasy or destruction. My parents grew up on farms in far northern Maine during the Depression. Nothing was wasted, not food or fabric, as in the picture of a pieced quilt sewn by my paternal grandmother. 10 years ago, before I started playing flute with the worship team, I worked with the quilters at church, pinning quilt tops, batting, and bottoms together and tying knots, the finished quilts all donated to Lutheran World Relief. Non-skilled work on my part, thank goodness, since I have no artistic ability in that regard. But I do abundantly in music. In John 6:12, Jesus teaches that abundance provided by God should not be wasted. This is stewardship, about managing and not wasting our gifts. Nothing in God's kingdom is wasted. All leftovers, including mistakes, tests, and trials, can be used to serve His greater purpose. And most importantly, trust that Jesus provides not only sufficiently, but also more than enough. We also use the term remnant in natural contexts, such as the remnant of a hurricane, wind, and/or rain. Scripture passages about nature refer to leaving a remnant habitat undisturbed, as with the Forest and Three Ridges Wilderness area, our western view here at Vanaprasta. Letting the land rest is another form of stewardship of God's creation. A natural sabbatical year, dictated in Leviticus 25, verses 4 to 5, is designated time for the soil to re-nourish. In a forest habitat, this ecological rest provides for God's vulnerable creatures. But for people, Sabbath, that remnant time left over at the end of a work week, is designed for spiritual rejuvenation. Now to the biblical meaning of the word remnant, symbolized by this red poinsettia, a remnant of Christmas. In Romans 11:5, Paul writes about God's faithfulness to Israel despite their rejection of Jesus as the Messiah. Paul refers to the story of Elijah, who thought he was the only worshiper who didn't bow his knee to the pagan god Baal. But God assured Elijah that he'd kept a remnant of 7,000 faithful Israelites, as God similarly assures the small minority of Jewish Jesus believers, including Paul himself. The Greek word for remnant, leima, refers to a small portion of people, a remainder or survivors, leftovers from a larger group. Chosen by grace tells us that faithfulness is not based on merit or works or righteousness, but on God's unmerited favor, grace. Or as our pastor says, God's riches at Christ's expense. His promise, His undeserved kindness, His remnant people called in every generation.